Finally, the NBA playoffs are back. Here we go. It's going to be so much fun, but it's going to be super hard to predict. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video on Mono Sports Talk. My NBA first round predictions are going to be here in this video, plus my entire 2021 playoffs bracket. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the easier series, the series that are quite easy to predict. Number 8 Washington Wizards take on the number 1 Philadelphia 76ers in the Western Conference first round. I have the 76ers winning in 5 games. It should be easy. The 76ers are a much better team than the Washington Wizards. Offensively and defensively, Joel Embiid, an MVP candidate. He was a top 3 MVP finalist. Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, he's a really good defender. I think the Wizards will take 1 game simply because of Russell Westbrook and getting his triple-double and Bradley Beal. But otherwise, the Sixers, much better team overall. Now, the series that is starting today, the number 7 Boston Celtics and the number 2 Brooklyn Nets go head-to-head. I have the Nets winning in 5 games. I think the Celtics take 1 only because of Jason Tatum's brilliance like he did in that play-in game against the Wizards. But otherwise, the Nets, you know what they are. The complete brilliant offensive power, arguably one of the greatest big 3 you'll ever see in James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. And the Nets should be able to cruise offensively in these games, put up a lot of points. It's not really like the Celtics are really much better than the Nets defensively. I mean, you have Robert Williams, but that's about it. We know the Nets should win this game unless they mess up, but I believe in the Nets, actually. They should get this done in 5. Now, the New York Knicks at home, the number 4 seed, take on the number 5 seed Atlanta Hawks. This is a series that nobody in their wildest dreams had predicted. Like, who would have thought the New York Knicks would be the number 4 seed? I mean, that's kind of crazy. The Hawks, you know, there were some playoff expectations for them, but to be the number 5 is honestly incredible. Both of these teams, very young, but they're going to be great in the upcoming years. They're really improving every year. And the Knicks, Julius Randle, probably the most improved player this year. We have some great players like R.J. Barrett, Alfred Payton, and then Derrick Rose has turned back the clock. And then Nerlens Noel, Taj Gibson. You have some veterans on this team as well. And then the Hawks are Trae Young, Clint Capella is really good, John Collins. They have a young trio right there. The Hawks are going to be, both these teams are going to be great in the future, but I have the Knicks winning the series in 7 games. The Knicks are slightly better, in my opinion. They possess some more experience, like I mentioned. The Hawks do have Lou Williams as well. I think the Hawks have a pretty deep bench. The Knicks have some players coming off it too. I think the Knicks win. They have a really great coach, Tom Thibodeau. I think the Knicks generally play some great basketball, and I think they'll get it done. The Hawks, a little too inexperienced. They're a little bit careless here and there. Knicks in 7. And now, the game that just finished between these two, the number 3 Milwaukee Bucks facing the number 6 seed Miami Heat. This series is going to be incredible. I'm telling you right now. The Bucks lead this series 1-0 simply because of Chris Middleton's brilliance today. The Bucks won game 1, but I have this going probably into 7 games. It's going to be a great series. Every single game is going to be tight. I'm telling you. It's going to come down to the last couple of minutes. Last year, if you remember, the Heat won the series in 5 games. Giannis missed the last 2 games, but the Heat just dominated the last 5 minutes in the 4th quarter. They continuously were clutch, getting those buckets. Tyler Hero, Jay Crowder, Jimmy Butler in that series were incredible. The Heat and Bucks, not really too much change for the Heat. They only have brought in Trevor Ariza, who is a great 3-and-D experienced guy. That's pretty much it for the Heat. And then for the Bucks, obviously the big acquisition of Drew Holiday. That's honestly the biggest change in this matchup. Drew Holiday, 18 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 39% from 3, 80% free throw, 50% from the field. Drew Holiday was so great in this game 1. He had that great transition bucket and then that stop on Jimmy Butler at the end. Drew Holiday already making an impact, already changing the series. So this is definitely going to be a lot more interesting than before. Defensively, he's a great player. And then also I want to talk about PJ Tucker. I'm a Rockets fan, so I really know a lot about PJ. Having him on your team in the playoffs is just really great. He's a tremendous veteran, brings in that leadership. He's so fiery, very good defensively. The 3-and-D guy from the corner. PJ Tucker is very valuable on a playoff team. And then Trevor Ariza. Can he replace Jay Crowder? He's kind of that replacement as that 3-and-D guy. Trevor Ariza currently shooting 35% from downtown and 9 points per game. So we'll see if Trevor Ariza can take on that role. But otherwise for the Bucks, they're a much better team. I think they have more depth with Bryn Forbes as well. So the Bucks to me are a better team. The only problem is it's going to come down to Giannis. Giannis had a good game today. Problem was he was horrendous from the free throw line. I think it was like 6 out of 14 from the line, which is just not going to get it done. Teams like Miami, they have a game plan. They're going to block the paint with a wall of double teams, and Giannis is really going to have to force himself to take some jump shots, and which is not his strength. We all know that. Giannis was called for some travels today as well. The Heat generally know how to stop him. Bam Adebayo is incredible at guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is why Giannis may not be as good in this series. Bam is probably the best defender against Giannis ever. And then Jimmy Buckets. What do you say about this man? He's so clutch. I love him. He's one of my favorite players. The guy's incredible. 22 points per game this season. 7 boards, 7 assists, 50% from the field, 86% from the free throw line. The guy is just a doer. We know that. He'll get it done in the playoffs. He came up just short today, but I have it going into 7 games. And here's my prediction. I have the Heat winning in 7 games. The Bucks do lead the series 1-0, like I mentioned before. But I still have the Heat winning in 7. It doesn't even matter if the Heat were going to win or lose this game. I would have the Heat in 7. To me, they'll just get it done in clutch time. I know Chris Middleton did it today, but I'm talking about a 7-game series. It's going to go on for a while. And I just like the Heat so much better. I don't know why. It's just my gut. In playoff time, I like Jimmy Butler to get it done more than Giannis. Chris Middleton, definitely a great player. The Bucks, man, I just don't know about Giannis. To me, if the Bucks are going to win this game, Giannis at some point is going to have to deliver. I don't know if he can. I have the Heat winning in 7, Jimmy Butler. You have Goran Dragic, who's all healthy. Duncan Robinson was incredible today. Kendrick Nunn, Iguodala, Ariza. You have some guys on this team, on the Heat, that just have that doer mentality, and they'll get it done. That's what I think. It's going to be close, though. I would not be surprised if the Bucks do win, though. Now, the series that is arguably the best first-round series that we've seen in a while. The Los Angeles Lakers, the number 7 seed, surprisingly, take on the Phoenix Suns, the number 2 seed. This is going to be such a great series, I'm telling you. This is so good. Facing the Lakers and Suns, we finally get to see Chris Paul and LeBron James go head-to-head in the first-round tournament. Unfortunate that this had to happen in the first round. I was really hoping this might happen in the Western Conference Finals. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a series you definitely need to start watching. It's going to be tomorrow at 2:30 on ABC. LeBron, we know he was just incredible against that game against the Warriors, even with that injury in his eye, I think. He drilled that game winner. It was incredible. But they're getting back to healthy. The Lakers, they started off pretty rusty, but here they go. I mean, they're going to get it together, and they're going to start on a roll now. I think they figured it out in the second half. Offensively, especially, they needed a game plan. AD started to go off. He had 25 points, 12 boards, and 2 assists in 42 minutes, so AD is definitely ready, healthy to go. And then LeBron. He had 22 points, 11 boards, and 10 assists, a triple-double in 35 minutes, and that game-winning 3. LeBron, you know who he is, obviously the king. And AD is so important to the Lakers. He's definitely looking more like himself now. He has to start making those threes. But really what it's going to come down to, I mean, you got CP3, incredible leadership. He's so great leading his troops on the court. And that's why the Phoenix Suns have done so much better this year. He's an MVP candidate to me. You know, he teaches the younger guys like DeAndre Ayton, does some coaching as well. Look at Chris Paul's number, 16 points per game, 9 assists, 5 boards. 93% from the free throw line, 40% from 3, 50% from the field. So he's in that 50, 40, 90 type guy. 1.4 steals a game as well. Chris Paul, sneaky good defensively. He's going to be so important. I'm really wondering how the Lakers are going to stop him because his impact is all across the board. And then Devin Booker, 26 points per game, 4 assists, 4 boards, 87% from the line, 48% from the field, 34% from 3. Devin Booker is a scorer. He's going to have to score. The Lakers definitely need a game plan to stop him. To me, the keys in this game Our DeAndre Ayton, he is so important. 14 points per game, 11 boards, 77% from the line. He's a really good shooter from the line, considering he's a big man. Held by CP3 in his development. Great pick and roll scheme with CP, and he's been improving throughout the season. 63% from the field. I think DeAndre Ayton, how is he going to fare against guys like Andre Drummond or Anthony Davis, guys in the paint? How is he going to deal with them? That's going to be important. And then Jay Crowder, we know, veteran experienced 3-and-D guy. Whichever team he's been on, that team has generally done okay in the playoffs. 10 points per game, 76% from the line, 40% from 3. He attempts 6 threes a game. 5 rebounds and 2 assists. He's valuable on defense as well with his leadership. So the Suns definitely have a lot of role players like Dario Saric, Mikal Bridges, Torrey Craig, and Kaminsky to come off the bench. The Suns have a deep roster, a lot of guys who can get it done. But to me, it's going to be decided in the paint, and that's where these two big men for the Lakers come in. Andre Drummond, we know who he is, 12 points per game, 10 rebounds, a block. He's going to be a big paint presence in this game. He's definitely going to play a lot more. And then Montrezl Harrell, we know, he's a beast inside. I've been saying that over and over. He's a big role with his physicality. To me, something about DeAndre Ayton, he's not really that physical. So Montrezl Harrell might bully him around even though he's shorter. 13.5 points per game, 6 rebounds. The Lakers, again, they have a very deep bench, much deeper than last year. Alex Caruso had 14 points against the Warriors. Wesley Matthews is so important as a veteran off the bench, a 3-and-D type guy. Marc Gasol, we didn't see him last time. Kyle Kuzma, all over the place. And then Taylor Horton-Tucker. So the Lakers are deep. The Suns are deep. It's going to be a battle of attrition. And I have the Lakers winning in 7. It's going to be close. Every single game is going to be close. I would not be surprised if the Suns win. Chris Paul is big-time clutch. We know how clutch Chris Paul is. Same thing with Devin Booker. I mean, if it comes down to the last 5 minutes, I might actually go with the Suns here. But look, we'll see. The Lakers are better defensively. The Suns are better offensively. It's going to be so close, man. The paint, to me, will decide it. We know the Stars are going to do what they do. And now, the Portland Trail Blazers, number 6, take on the Denver Nuggets, the number 3 seed. The Denver Nuggets surprisingly number 3, all because of Jokic, the MVP favorite. He's been leading the team the entire season. Even without Murray, he's been great. And they got the 3rd seed, 26 points per game, 87% from the line, 11 boards, 8 assists, 1 steal, 39% from 3, and he played all 72 games. To me, he's the MVP. And then you have Dame Lillard, the other MVP to me. He's been incredible. He was leading them in the beginning of the season without CJ. 29 points per game, 8 boards, 4 rebounds, 39% from 3, 93% from the line. To me, the X factor is CJ McCollum because he is that second scorer. The Nuggets, to me, do not have that guy. That was Jamal Murray, but now they don't, which is why the Portland Trail Blazers should win this series. CJ, 23 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. 40% from 3, 81% from the line. Both teams really not too great defensively. It should be a high-scoring game. To me, the Nuggets just don't have that second scorer. Michael Porter Jr., I mean, he could have a big game, but I don't know if he's consistent enough. Aaron Gordon, he hasn't been that scorer-type guy. Paul Millsap, Monty Morris, Austin Rivers, Campazzo, they've been great. Even though JaVale McGee, they have a great team. Missing ingredient, Jamal Murray. And that's why the Blazers win in 6 games. Yes, in 6. And now, the Clippers versus Mavericks, a rematch of last year's first round, just like this year. It's going to be so much fun. This is a series that I really want to see. 4 Clippers, 5 Mavericks. The Mavericks jumped all the way to the 5 seed only because of Luka. To me, he should have been an MVP candidate. 28 points per game, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, 35% from 3, 48% from the field, but only is 73% at the line, 4 turnovers a game. Luka has led this team offensively. He's just incredible offensively. Luka magic all the way. To me, he is so important. He just might single-handedly win this series. That's how much I think of Luka. And then Paul George. He has been really good this year. He hasn't played too much games. Just like Kawhi, PG, 23 points per game, a steal, 7 boards, 5 assists, 87% from the line, 41% from 3, and 47% from the field. Paul George has to be that two-way player. Offensively and defensively, Paul George needs to be aggressive. He has that size. Same thing with Kawhi. Kawhi and PG have to forget about the horrors of last year and move on and show NBA world how good they are. Kawhi, 25 points per game, 5 assists, 7 boards, 90% from the free throw line, 40% from 3, 51% from the field, and 2 steals. Kawhi and PG, that's it for the Clippers. They didn't do it last time. Can they do it now? Rajon Rondo coming off the bench, really important guard. Same thing with Reggie Jackson, who's been really good as a point guard. Patrick Beverley's back. Serge Ibaka returned. So the Clippers are healthy and they're ready to go. Same thing with the Mavericks. Porzingis is back. They need him. He was injured against that series last year. Hardaway has been really good as well. They have a lot of bench players, the Mavericks, but not a lot of impact, which is the problem. Finney Smith, Josh Richardson, Willie Cauley-Stein, Brunson and Burke, to me, are two great guards for the Mavericks. But I have the Mavericks winning in 7 simply because of Luka. He is so clutch. Probably one of the most clutch players in the league right now, which is why I'm going with the Mavericks. There's just something special that I feel is in the air. The Memphis Grizzlies, surprising everybody as number 8, take on the number 1 Utah Jazz. Ja Morant, 35 points per game. 35 points against the Warriors led them to the 8. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He shot well from 3 as well. To me, Valanciunas versus Gobert is probably the most important and a great matchup in this game. Dylan Brooks has been clutch for the Grizzlies. Same thing with Grayson Allen. The Jazz, to me, are a better team. Completely better team offensively. Defensively, they play a team game. Lots of threes, great defense, offense, and share the ball. Jazz in 6. So, here is my NBA playoffs bracket. I filled in my first round predictions. So, Utah versus Dallas in the second round. I'm going to go Dallas. I just like Dallas a lot. As you can see, I have them beating the Clippers as well. But to me, Utah is not really too much convincing. I think Utah is a better team. But I think Dallas, big moments, Luka, to me, is an X factor. He is just so big in the playoffs to me. That's why I have the Mavericks winning. Utah, to me, I don't know if they'll come up big enough in the playoffs. Now, Portland versus LA, the Lakers, I have them winning in 6 games against the Portland Trail Blazers. It's a rematch of last year's first round. I think the Blazers will come in more ready this time. But the Lakers, getting on a roll here in the first round, should be able to cruise by the Blazers, who don't really possess a great defense. Now, 76ers, Knicks, 76ers in 5. To me, the Sixers are a much better team. We know that. And now, the Heat versus Nets. This is going to be such a great series. If this happens, Brooklyn in 7. It's going to come down to the last minute. I think Brooklyn is, obviously we know they have way more clutch scorers, possibly KD, Kyrie, Harden. I think they get it done here. Miami has a pretty much better defense. It's going to be interesting to see how they guard against the big 3. But I think they get it done offensively. The Nets, too much to handle. Now, Mavericks, Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I have the Lakers winning in 6 games again. They beat the Mavericks, so the Lakers possess a great defense. They might be able to shut down Luka. And now number 1, Philadelphia, number 2, Brooklyn. I have the Nets winning in 7 games again. Another 7-game series for the Nets. 76ers and Nets. It's going to be interesting to see. Both teams not really too great defensively. The Sixers definitely much better defensively. And I wonder how they're going to guard guys like KD and Joel Embiid. How is he going to do in the series offensively? I think the Nets take it. 76ers, not too much experience. The Nets still trying to figure it out, but I think they get it done here. And now Lakers, Brooklyn. I already talked about it earlier in my videos. I have the Lakers winning in 7 if this happened.